Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Vibrant Heart, children of God. This will have to be quick. And I feel like I needed to go over some of that last video, but I can't because literally my phone won't even charge now. So it was plugged into. My God, what am I going to do? I mean, literally, that's what it's become for most of us, huh? It's pretty sad. So I want to do in the book of Job. It is considered one of the oldest books, but I have to go very quickly because this is just probably going to shut down because it's not charging. Something's on it. So we tried to clear stuff, but it's not working. So we're just going to get another phone, I think in the new year. So I just got to suffer about another month. This is when Job's friends and family are even telling him that something's wrong with him because no one should have to suffer the way that he does. I will have the names wrong. Eliphaz believes the innocent do not suffer. I also have cotton in my ears, so it just sounds like I'm talking abnormally loud. Maybe I am. Eliphaz calls Job foolish. He encourages Job to appeal to God. Job's anguish, deep anguish. Job questions God's continuing trials. And I got a cold on Tuesday or Wednesday, so I couldn't go and help serve or clean up or take food in or any of it because I wasn't going to go in and contaminate little people and children and everyone else because I was sneezing and it's a mess. So I either got into something because I did get into this old dust that was from the place where everything was being sprayed into the house and stuff. And I kind of then knew, but the thing is I went and washed up and that, but then I was like, oh no, it's kind of like, when you contaminate yourself or whatever. So my nose is raw. And maybe next time I shouldn't just do something where like stuff blows up my face. So, woo! So what do we want to read about? Because I think a lot of people had maybe some sad times recently, or it was just me. And Job's questions God continuing trials, but then you're doing this ramble jamble and it's going to shut down, Heather. Okay, so the first thing I came to is Eliphaz believes the innocent do not suffer. So we're going to do that because I literally was in churches where this kind of thing was being said. First of all, if I went in confidence to a minister or private meeting, they just simply weren't. They're just, believing it, and that obviously then it must be fully my fault, as to what was kept going on, and it was just getting worse and worse. I think I just had rosemary or parsley stuck up in my tooth, so sorry about that. So chapter 4, so we can watch this shut down. Then, and if I'm saying Eliphaz wrong, I'm sorry. Chapter 4, then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, and he says the innocent do not suffer. If we essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved, but who can behold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and you have haste strengthened the weak hands. Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. The words have upholden him that was falling, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. Every time I say hurry when I have to do one of these, I stumble. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest, it toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thy fear, the confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? I mean, this friend is just, more or less, we're going to just cut it because I'm not going to get through it. We'll jump ahead to 18, 19, 20, the very end. Plus, I'm a little bit miserable, not horrible. It doesn't have my spirits fully down. It's just, so far I've done shower, I had to do ear cones, and now I'm doing a foot bath, and we're going to hope for the best and do some vitamin therapy. I didn't get the homeopathic in time, so that's not going to be effective, and I've been doing airbornes and stuff like that, but, behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. Air, meaning Gotta be lucky after Eliphaz leaves that Job doesn't want to kill himself. How much less in them that dwell in house of clay, whose foundation is the dust, which are crushed before the moth? They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Doth not their excellency, which is in them, go away? They die even without wisdom. He calls them foolish. And I know there are points where Joe is just like, please, God, kill me, or let me kill myself. And there are people all amongst you that live in that anguish. And who do they have to go to? And then when you do go to someone, what do they say to you? Sometimes it just gets to the point where you're in suffering and it's like, don't even bother. Don't even bother to tell anyone to maybe think you might get some comfort, and you ain't going to find it nowadays. So very small pockets of people, yes, you're going to find comfort. But outside of that, between the prosperity preachings and most of the church people are, if they're regularly attendees or whatever, and they give a lot of money to the church, and the church is so corrupt, none of them really get any major setbacks monetarily or anything to wake them up, because they're so far gone. God's just like, just let them have what they want. They're so deep in sin, and deep in sin meaning not treating their brothers and sisters right. And maybe if I at least take these out, I just didn't want to have to put them back in because they got oil and all this stuff. I could kind of control having a cold. My voice teacher taught me that in college, where if you had a cold and you said to go on and perform, to sing that or act, right, you could kind of rise above the nasal thing and kind of bring it down farther, and to avoid sounding like you had a cold. And so now I'm going to say, we're going to go real quick, and I won't find it in time. A prayer for God's protection, thirst for God. God shall govern the earth. Prayer for the poor and needy, because winter is not fun at all, especially if they're in a struggling climate, a harsh climate. To the chief musician, a psalm of David to bring to remembrance. Make haste, O God, to deliver me. Make haste to help me, O Lord. Let them be ashamed and confounded that seek after my soul. Let them be turned backward and put to confusion that desire my hurt. Let them be turned back for a reward of their shame that say, Aha, aha. Let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. And let such as love thy salvation say continually, let God be magnified. But I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O God. Thou art my help and my deliverer, O Lord. Make no tarrying. And we're just going to end there. So that was Psalm 70 and then chapter 4 of Job. And I just need to say that for most people that were somewhat pretty darn close to being on the right side of the fence with God, and that does not mean upright and perfect in every way, because let me tell you what, those that appear to be so spiffed up and clean, you'd be surprised what you find in those little cracks and corridors of in their house, in their lives, behind the scenes where nobody sees them. And I learned this from an early age because of how I was raised, and all the lies and the cover-ups and these faces, and having props, more or less. It's like in a performer has props, it's to help their performance go better, correct? Some would use more props than others. Some just go on sure wit and what they are. But it's very important these days that, and I'm not saying that you can't make friends. I'm not saying that you can't make friends right now. No, that's a horrible, horrible message. It depends on how deeply you're, tracked like a bunny, and how many it's already been taken from you. I'm not going to say don't try to find support. Please go to healing groups. There's copious amounts of healing groups. Some flare a little more open with spiritual ideas. because some people have been through such horrible things that most of their abuse happened in organized churches, nunneries, orphanages, and those people are still out there and they're hurting. And a lot of them do hate God. And quite frankly, some of the child torture stories I've heard through the years, I don't blame them. But for me, my life, I would just have given up. That's how bad what I witnessed and saw firsthand in the home, and what I had to go through physically had to go through. And I've never even delved into the stuff with the female caretaker, what she was doing to me, in the bathroom sessions and stuff. It was really, really terrorizingly torturous, and nobody ever knew, and nobody probably will ever know. There would just be no point in trying to even regurgitate any of that. It's bad enough I have the flashbacks that I have to hand to God every day. Sometimes every day, sometimes I get a break, sometimes the ones that I didn't want to see again. But a lot of that's the devil's work. The devil loves to keep us in the past, and the devil loves to just keep rehashing that stuff at people that had some very beyond the imagination of demented. And so that's really all I have for today. And I may or may not come back and do the obnoxious ones, the really obnoxious, and to kind of, hopefully, my goal is with God. Well, I sometimes don't know what in God's earth that is, but our approach, I guess you could say, was maybe, just maybe, the sickest of the sick click on, and it kind of gets them. So that was it for me, and God came up that. And please watch a great biography on St. George. I never knew about him. I think he passed away in the 1960s, and well, you can almost say slightly bizarre, but I'm about ready to sneeze, and it's like as if I'm calling out to Hawaii with this sneeze. So I've got to go, and I love you. Bye.